This is what they call progress. The irony of a mediocre man who couldn't hack it in his rightful category. He was a mediocre D2 golfer, never winning any awards. So the irony of this mediocre man who couldn't, again, hack it in his rightful category, essentially telling women to just train harder, would be comical if there weren't real consequences.
So ladies and gentlemen, I am back once again talking about this issue within women's sports that just seems to go on and on and on. It just never seems to end. Every single week now there is a new story, and even though there is a new story every single week, according to woke leftist liberals, as you've heard me say before, they seem to think it's an exaggeration or it simply doesn't exist. Right, yet me and many others, as you always see, find ourselves turning on the camera, the microphone, and talking to you guys about the injustice going on. Quite often, actually. I forgot, sorry. We must be making it up, right? Yeah, but today I'm going to be talking about trans golfer Hailey Davidson, who has caused controversy once again after moving on to the next round of qualifying school, which means they are inching closer to participating in the Ladies Professional Golf Association Tour. More like now the LGBTQ+ tour. Well, that's what it will become anyway in the future, unless truth, reality, common sense is brought back into our lovely, stunning and brave society. But in this video, I won't only be talking about that, I'll be talking about this male golfer disrespecting other female golfers. We have another golfer who has spoken out against this guy, and as you all saw at the beginning of this video, Riley Gaines, well, she goes off. But before I get into all of that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure this video gets pushed out further into the algorithm by hitting that like button. Leave your comment down below, share this video around, and at the end of this video, I have a very important message I want to share with you guys, but nonetheless, let's lose some brain cells and let's continue the brain cells we've got left. Anyway, but a female golfer has blasted this trans golfer who is one step closer to competing in the LPGA Tour, and this very same trans golfer has dissed female golfers upset over his participation in female tournaments. A trans-identifying golfer has moved on to the next round of qualifying school, inching closer to participation in the Ladies Professional Golf Association Tour. Hailey Davidson, who formerly played golf on a men's college team, no surprise there, is getting called out by female golfer Amy Olsen. Unfair, Olsen posted to X over the weekend. These women have worked too hard and too long to have to stand by and watch a man compete for and take their spot. The only fair path forward is a policy based on sex, not gender, Olsen added. It's interesting, isn't it? Because she mentions women having worked too hard and too long to allow a dude claiming to be a woman to compete for and take their spots. Do you hear the outrage, the uproar from the liberal feminists over this? I know my hearing's getting worse because I am getting older, but I hear nothing. I hear building works going on outside, but I don't hear them complaining about this as they should be. But every single day they're complaining about men who still identify as men, taking opportunities away from them, getting paid more, etc., etc. In fact, a lot of these liberal women have advocated for men going into women's sports, taking places awards away from them. They clap, they cheer. They cry more about people misgendering these people than the spots these men are taking. Imagine if all women just came together and said, no, this is not allowed to happen. Do you think it would continue in the way it is? Probably not. Olsen, who retired from professional golf in April, was commenting on video footage posted by female sports advocate Riley Gaines. The video, which has been viewed more than 3 million times, shows Davidson playing at Q School. Exclusive footage of male golfer Hailey Davidson at the LGPGA qualifying school this week, Gaines commented. He is vying for the opportunity to advance to the 2025 LPGA Tour. Looks like the mediocre male will be among the top 95 qualifying female golfers to move on later today, the former swimming champ blasted. And let's quickly take a look at some of that video footage. What a time we're in. This is what is going on. It's mind-blowing to think about. We have dudes competing against women, regardless of the sport, because of their feelings. That's what it ultimately comes down to. An individual, a male, feels like they're a woman, and to them and, the woke activists, that's enough. That's a big enough justification to compete against women when it isn't. You're a male. Imagine if facts were just important again. How different the world would look, right? Anyway, this very same golfer, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, has come out and disrespected other female golfers by essentially saying they need to take accountability for their own failures. Hey, look, man.
If I speak, I am in big trouble.
The athlete has notably made disparaging remarks about female athletes who are concerned about fairness, noting the biological differences between males and females. For example, Davidson once wrote on Instagram, "I will never understand athletes who blame a transgender competitor on their own athletic failures. If you don't take accountability for your failures, then you will never actually be good enough to make it." Right. But this isn't a normal situation, is it? Far from it. In a normal situation, yeah, normality, that forgotten thing, we would see female golfers competing against other female golfers. But in your case, we have a dude who is affecting women. You have, regardless of a woman's athletic abilities, biological advantages that these women will not have, that make you physically superior. That is not their fault. It's not down to them to become better. How dare somebody come out and say the women need to become better? They need to take accountability for their own failures. They're failing, and I wouldn't even say it's failing because it's an injustice, but this is going on because a dude shouldn't even be competing against them in the very first place. Now, Hailey Gaines, as we all know, somebody who is doing amazing work when it comes to this whole issue within women's sports, has spoken out about this whole story in an interview on Fox News, and yeah, she just says it how it is. Take a watch.
Transgender golfer, meantime, Hailey Davidson is on the verge of joining the LPGA Tour. Yeah, that's right. And here's what Davidson had to say to critics who basically say she shouldn't be doing this. "I will never understand athletes who blame a transgender competitor on their own," and she does use this phrase, "athletic failures. If you don't take accountability for your failures, then you will never actually be good enough to make it." Hailey, what's your response to a statement like that?
I didn't understand that competing at the highest level in women's golf was a failure. My response is a man telling a woman that she will never be good enough to be successful used to be correctly labeled as misogynistic, but now society, the Harris Biden administration, and certainly what we could expect from the Harris-Walz administration, this is what they call progress. The irony of a mediocre man who couldn't hack it in his rightful category. He was a mediocre D2 golfer, never winning any awards. So the irony of this mediocre man who couldn't, again, hack it in his rightful category, essentially telling women to just train harder, would be comical if there weren't real consequences. And so to just very plainly reiterate what the LPGA stands for, it stands for the Ladies Professional Golf Association. But what we have seen from the LPGA over these past 2 years, their policy has been in place for many years, is blatant discrimination against women. Again, utterly regressive and deeply misogynistic. That's what I think of this. I think Hailey Davidson, he even went on to post more really, again, harmful comments just like this on his social media yesterday. And so I'm not surprised. This is the same narcissism that we see from people like Will Thomas, for example. So can't say I'm shocked, but nonetheless, it's disappointing.
Yeah, it's definitely like they're baiting people just to try to make a point and really upset people at the same time. I need a short answer to this question, but I know your answer is going to be short because of the question. Have you heard of any women's groups, feminist rights groups, on behalf of the biological females fighting and stepping up and saying this is wrong?
Very, very, very few. We have some like WDI International, which is a traditional feminist group, but then you have others like NOW, the National Organization of Women, or the National Women's Law Center, or Billie Jean King or Megan Rapinoe, these people who pride themselves on fighting for women. They not only are they silent, they are the ones who are really at the front lines of advancing these policies that ultimately undermine everything they once fought for.
And after their careers have ended, I should add. Hailey Gaines, thanks for fighting. We appreciate it.
You just got to hand it to this woman, man, and other women like Hailey Gaines who are in this fight despite the obstacles they face. I mean, we shouldn't even be sitting here talking about it. I shouldn't have to make videos on it. Nobody should be talking about this issue because it shouldn't be happening in the very first place. But no, we have another example of a dude in women's sports. Left is right, up is down. You know how the saying goes by now, and common sense is hard to find. Leave your thoughts down below about this whole story, ladies and gentlemen. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Now, I just want to share this important message with you guys. So recently, I'll let you know, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, that the channel is being heavily suppressed. I tell you now, in the last 2 years of making videos, I've never experienced anything like this, ever. It sort of happened just overnight. Something just switched and every metric you can think of is down. So let's just think about when I was on 15k, 20k subscribers. The channel was doing better then in terms of views, etc., than it is doing now, and I have more subscribers. Like yesterday's video barely got pushed out to anybody. The video before that barely got pushed out to anybody. I've spent so much time trying to talk to YouTube and tell them these issues, but they just give you some BS answer. They never actually want to resolve the issue with you. You know, it sucks. It really does. To constantly make videos every single day, put your time and effort into it, and the algorithm is screwing you. I don't want to quit. That is not in me. I'm not going to allow the situation the channel is in right now to stop me. Because the easy thing would be to quit. And you can apply that to anything in life. The easy thing is to quit because it feels like, you know, that's the safest option for you, to quit. But I cannot allow that to happen. So I just want to say thank you to all of you guys who have supported the channel more and more ever since I raised this issue to you guys. You know, when some of you guys heard that people were being unsubscribed from the channel. Like, that's insane when you think about it. I've had people tell me they've been unsubscribed from the channel and they've had to resubscribe. And when you tell that to YouTube, oh, we don't know what's going. It's a joke. I will keep going and going and going until they delete the channel or whatever. That's what's going to happen. They're going to have to send this channel so far down into the pits for me to stop. Let's show these guys that no, we're not going anywhere. This channel's not going anywhere. We're here to stay. And again, you're going to have to delete it for me to go. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like rating. Let's get those like ratings up. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.